Yes, take a seat. Hello, hello. First of all, how's Scotland been treating you? Alex, have you been here before?
I have. The first time I was here, I spent, I think, a week and a half, and it was 16 years ago.
16?
Yeah.
So have you seen anything nice so far?
I mean, I've seen these guys.
Yeah, and they're very nice. 10 out of 10. What about you, Ben? Are you having a good time in Edinburgh?
Delightful time. I mean, this is amazing. Seeing everybody is amazing. We walked the Royal Mile as a gang the other day. Not like Saint Denis, but fun.
Nice. And what about you, Rob? How have you found meeting the fans in Scotland?
This has been so great. Thank you all so much for coming and having us here. This has been an amazing experience and really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Finally, Roger, I know you're no stranger to the UK. Like, have you been to Scotland before, though?
Yeah, 21 years ago. I did the festival in '01 to, I think there was about 3 people in the audience. It was before the Gilded Balloon burnt down, if any of you remember that place. But again, what Rob said, guys, we know some of you drive hours to come here, and the appreciation that you show us for our work, it means the world. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Now, before we get into Red Dead, and we're talking about video games, I wanted to ask if you guys, now I know Roger's a video game nerd, you're definitely, so we'll start with Roger, he's a huge nerd. Roger, what kind of video games did you have or play growing up?
Growing up, I had the Atari, and then the Nintendo, and then the SNES, and then the PS1. I'm doing my whole journey, my whole gaming journey. But yeah, I used to I remember E.T., remember E.T. on the Atari? That horrible, horrible game that they couldn't even give away? I loved it, but I completed it, and I didn't know that I had completed it. That's
Great. I had an Atari ST. So,
wow.
Yeah, giving away my age. Rob, what about you? Did you grow up with video games?
I really loved my Nintendo so much, but my parents would always come down. It was in the basement. My parents would always come down and say, hey, it's nice outside. You got to get out of here. So I kind of... I got away from it, and I just never really made my way back. And I'm sorry. I don't know if I need to apologize when I say that I'm sorry. I'm not much of a gamer, but I want to be. I want to be. So someday.
If you meet Rob, you can school him in video games and do a few recommendations. Ben, what about you?
I started with, I think, Pong I played when I was very little. Wii, as it were. Had an Atari 2600, stopped playing for Sega Genesis.
Yes.
Beat Echo the Dolphin. That was a great game.
I think they called it the Mega Drive over here, didn't you? The Sega Mega Drive, yeah.
Yeah, Echo, that was fun. And then I sort of stopped until the N64 came out, and I saw Super Mario, and I was like, that's new. And I got one of those, and I've been playing ever since. I still don't have a PS5, so if anybody works for Sony, I could use a PS5 with a disk drive, please.
Okay, right. He's very demanding. One of our most demanding panel guests. Finally, Alex, what about you? Were you a gamer?
Yes and no, off and on. I definitely played Super Mario, Donkey Kong, things of that nature. I loved arcades. And then in college, I really fell in love with this little company called Rockstar, and I was playing GTA and some of their older games, and then kind of put it down until I figured out what we were doing and then got to play it.
I wanted to ask, I mean, the writing is incredible in Red Dead, and I think that, you know, in general, games have really stepped their game up. Sorry, granny jokes. But you know, I wanted to ask you guys as actors, when you're reading a script and you get an impression of your character and the feel of the story, does that change for you when you go to actually play the role and you start to interact with your sort of fellow actors? Does it change a little bit, and can you change the role itself, make it your own, I guess?
Well, I think the dynamic always changes when it's in real life and your energy is melding with somebody else's energy. But this video game, unlike movies, for example, we didn't get a proper script. So it was not a whole piece of what the story was. We just got bits. And that made it really interesting to figure out exactly how you wanted to play any given moment because you didn't really know the context. Well, not really until the end. And then that was pretty great. And typically, you don't film in sequence, so it's not linear. But luckily, you know, some of my favorite things that happened towards the end of the game actually they happened at the end of filming, and that made it really special.
Would you agree with Alex, you guys?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, you can have an idea about a character, and until you're opposite your scene partner, if you're set in what it's going to be, you're not really acting. You got to react to what you're getting. And it is the thing about the game, we all depended on each other. And Dutch is not just Dutch in a bottle. It's in relationship to Arthur and to John and to Sadie. And we all built this world together.
I guess it's that way, like in real life, you know, your thoughts, feelings, and experiences change as you interact and meet with people. So I wanted to ask, in general, because I have to say, the Red Dead fans are absolutely amazing. They are so lovely.
Absolutely.
Woo! God,
the
you guys
best.
are so nice. Lovely, lovely fans. I wanted to ask, like, what do people identify with or say to you in terms of, you know, the love of the characters that you play when they meet you? What is it they're kind of like connecting to? We'll go to the other end now. We'll start with Roger.
You know, one thing I never anticipated, because my dad would always be screaming at me to get off the damn thing, you know, but so many fathers and sons and fathers and daughters would come up to us and say how much their love of Westerns brought them together over Red Dead and playing it together, and I never anticipated video games to be doing that and bringing families together, especially over the last 2 years that we all went through when everyone was stuck at home. That really blew my mind. I didn't expect that, and that's a real pleasure to hear. You know, it's an honor.
What about you, Rob? Do you want to add anything else? Like, what are people connecting to when they kind of meet you and they talk about your character?
A lot of people tell me that playing the games got them through a really tough time, and that again is something that I don't know that any of us really expected. But all of us obviously are so happy that we were part of something that people were able to lean on during a tough time, because we all go through tough times. And so it's really special when you know that you were part of something that helped somebody through something, for sure.
Do you guys want to add anything?
Well, just so many people see themselves in the characters in the game.
Yeah.
And it's such a large world, and there's so many different kinds of people inhabiting it. But I love the community of people that I get to meet. And so the game has sort of helped them on their own, but then the love of the game has connected them with each other, and it's created this amazing community that I was just saying earlier. To be a small part of that is beyond what any of us anticipated.
Absolutely. Alex, why do you think that is? Like, I mean, people love movies and TV shows as well, but do you think it's the immersion? Is it because of that immersive experience in video games, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I see particularly Red Dead being this immersive experience. So it feels like you're in a film, but you're interacting within it. And I think, you know, books for me, films, video games, they reflect a part of you that you either already have or maybe want to have at some point. And I think we need those kinds of role models, and we don't always. So I've said this to a few people that have come up to talk to me, but even I sometimes have to channel my inner Sadie to get things done, to kind of boast myself up to handle things that sometimes feel like they're a lot to handle.
Now, I'm going to ask one last question, and before I ask it, I'm going to invite anyone who has a question to stand at this mic. Oh, I've seen you almost at every panel I've done. Mr. X-Men, he's right up. Everybody, please come stand up. Please don't be shy. We don't bite, not always. Not unless you ask nicely. Please come and stand up. Now, we'll try and get through you all as much as possible, but before we get to the fan questions. I wanted to ask, if you were living in the Wild West for real, okay, what would you be doing? Would you be a hero? Would you be a villain? Would you be living the quiet life? Or would you be causing trouble? Alex, do you want to start?
I would be a bounty hunter.
Oh, yes.
So causing trouble for the right reasons.
Yes, hell yes. Okay, what about you, Ben?
I don't know. I'd be causing trouble for sure.
Okay, we've got two troublemakers here, all right. Okay, Rob, what about you?
I do construction work now, so I can only imagine I would do that then as well.
Transferable skills.
Yeah, build you a house. Who needs a chicken coop? Anybody want a chicken coop? I can build it for you.
Okay, and finally, Roger.
Well, you know, they didn't have the medical advancements back then that they do now. I don't fancy my chances, to be honest with you.
I'd just be playing guitar. I think I'd just be the bard. The bard? God, that's a different time period. Playing guitar of some sort. Very useless. Thank you very much. Can we first have a round of applause for the first half of this panel? Thank you. Now we have a long queue. Can I just remind you to ask one question only so that everyone gets a chance? Just one question. Hello, my friend. Nice to see you again. What's your name again? What's your question?
My name's Bailey, and I would like to ask, what ending do you think is canon? Like the author being a sadistic maniac and Micah killing him, or Micah letting him live?
Thanks, Bailey. Hey, well, it's called Redemption's in the title, right? So I reckon, I mean, the beauty of it is you can play it whatever way you want, but I think High Honor's the way to go. I think High Honor helping John that was the first ending that we did. And for me, I don't take my word for it, but that one for me is the main ending, I think, you know? That's the one that gives you the most rewarding end. Or, you know, often when people come to my table, I'll say to them, which ending did you get? And they say, I got the good one. And I'll be like, what? There's a good one? But I know exactly what they mean. I know they mean the one with High Honor helping John, and I agree with them.
I was a sadistic maniac. I get shot in the face.
Oh, damn, it's both.
Thank you very much, Bailey. Thank you. Nice to see you again. See you later. Okay, my friend, what is your name and your question?
My name's Caroline, and I was just wondering, like, there's so many different interactions between the different characters, and I was wondering what everyone's favourite. It could be a comeback, it could be just a conversation, and it doesn't need to be about your specific character, it could just be any of them.
Okay, who wants to answer that?
Can I swear?
Yes, it's my panel, you can swear.
I like when Dutch says, fuck you then.
Thank you very much. Hello, friend. What's your name and what's your question?
My name's Wayne. My question's more for Rob. So, during the whole game as you're playing, obviously you played with all the characters, but towards the end, all of them unfortunately die off. I was heartbroken. I wanted to know how, emotionally was that for you, towards the end, visiting each individual grave and that?
So, great question. Thank you for asking. The crazy thing is, like Alex said, we were given the script in bits, not in its entirety. But so the bits that we got were also not in order. So we didn't really know what was going on. I don't know if that was a way for Rockstar to make sure that we didn't spoil anything, or who knows exactly why it was that way. But it's hard to know, you know, because you couldn't really understand the story until you've done so much of it. Then you could try and go back and piece it together. But I think Roger has an interesting story about visiting Arthur's grave.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to... Spoilers. But yeah, you may remember at the end, after the epilogue, there's the credits, and there's a few scenes interspersed with the credits, and there's one bit where we see Mary Linton, standing by Arthur's gravestone. So the wonderful actress who plays Mary Linton, Julie Jesnick, she wasn't in that day, so I was Mary.
Thank you very much. Good answers. Hello, my love. Name and question.
I'm Kate, and this is kind of a question for all of you guys. So as you guys know, I started a podcast a couple of years ago where I interview, well, you guys and Nolan North and things like that. Obviously, I would not have had the confidence 3 years ago to do it. But how does it make you guys feel when you have that Red Dead has basically made people have the creativity and the free will to just start creating all these different things?
Oh, good question.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Alex, do you want to start?
Sure. I mean, it feels amazing because we spent 5 years putting our hearts and love into something, and to connect with people who have that same love for something that we're also fans of is pretty spectacular. And, you know, getting to meet all these incredible artists that have created incredible pieces of our characters and truly created things. I mean, somebody yesterday gave me the belt buckle I wear as Sadie, and I nearly burst into tears. I mean, it was just incredible. So, I mean, it feels, I think, as we were saying before, none of us could have anticipated this. And it's a great privilege to be a part of something so special.
Here, I agree.
You know, and another thing too is like, you know, we were only a small piece of the pie. It took a village. It literally took a village. There are thousands of employees at Rockstar Games that made us look good, and the way that we all were able to put all that work in together, I mean, that they deserve just as much credit as we do, you know, if not more so. Because even like with film, the actor's contribution to a video game is an even smaller part of the pie. But yeah, it was a lot of talented people.
But those thousands of people, you're now part of. I mean, all this art that you're all creating, the costumes you're creating, the stories that you're telling, you're all a part of it. You know, the canon is expanding because of you.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you guys for everything.
Cheers, Kay.
Thank you. Hello, sir. What's your name and what's your question?
My name is Thomas. That's a question for all you. Out of the two games, what is your favourite? Like Red Dead 1 or Red Dead 2? Just...
Uh-oh, we put them on the spot.
Like choosing between your, you know, children, or...
Yeah.
I think it's all one thing, honestly.
That's a very good question, though. But it's so hard to say. There were so many great memories and experiences from both of the from all of it, and these things keep coming. So yeah, I think it's too tough to choose, man. But that's a great question.
I'm biased. I'm gonna say 2.
Same.
There you go.
But it wouldn't have been a 2 if it wasn't for the amazing work of Rob and Ben. So that's worth remembering too.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you for your question. You look badass.
Oh, shucks.
Hello, what's your name and what's your question?
So I'm Nick, and this is like another general question as well. But obviously there's a lot of content in both games. But is there anything that you guys recorded that got cut, or that you wish had made it into the game that you feel like other fans would like to know about?
Good question. Who wants to start?
There was a mission killing bounty hunters on a train that we worked on.
I remember that. Yeah, there's loads of Boston fellas, wasn't it?
Couple of months we worked on that. Some bad-ass stuff in there. But the thing is, if it got cut, it's because it wasn't up to snuff. So, but that's an excellent question. Anything else?
There was a lot of things, you know. I'd be here all day, but as Ben said, you know, you gotta, when you're making a project that size, you know, stuff does have to fall by the wayside, and it happens for a reason, you know. I think they had a very kind of skeletal outlook of what the story was going to be, but the amazing writers and the Rockstar team, they didn't commit themselves too much in advance, you know, because they wanted to see, oh, this actor's bringing this to the table. We didn't anticipate that. All right, let's focus on that. Or that thing that's not working quite as well as we did. So they allowed themselves the flexibility to be able to move forward and lean towards stuff that they found that was really good, and, you know, not pay so much attention to the stuff that perhaps didn't turn out like they wanted to.
Thank you very much. And you look amazing. Round of applause. Such a good outfit. Hello, my friend. Name and question.
Hello, I'm Chris, and I was wondering if you could voice any other characters from fiction, who would it be? As you have some of the most iconic voices and are probably the most fleshed out characters in all of gaming history.
Oh, great question. Who'd like to start? Alex, do you want to start? Should we go down this way? If you could voice, what was it? If you could voice any other character in fiction?
Yeah.
Like in fiction in general?
In general, go for it.
Oh.
That's a hard one.
In general. That's why I was like,
put you on the
it's
spot.
fiction
Go on,
a game
Alex.
I don't know about.
Answer this very big question. Go for it.
Okay, yeah, start here. But in games or just in general, any character in history? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go with Cleopatra.
That'd be cool.
All right.
And I'll just say, our voices are in the game, but it's performance captured. It's acting.
Yep.
So it was all of us together. That being said, a character from history, thank you for the question, that I'd like to play, Creon.
Nice. Rob, and then Roger.
Oh my goodness! You know what? I think Mario would be cool. Right?
You give Chris Cat a run for his money. I'll say that.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Rob, before Roger goes, can I ask you to go? It's a me.
It's a me.
There you go. What do you think? Sorry, Rob. Really convincing. Really convincing.
See, I've already got it. I'm ready.
There you go.
Finally, sorry, Roger. Go for it.
I got to meet one of my idols at this con, Peter Cullen. Y'all know Peter Cullen?
Yeah.
Optimus Prime. I would love to work with him. Give me a Transformer role. I'll be one of the Transformers.
Thank you. Thanks for your question.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello there. Love your T-shirt. Great movie.
Thank
okay,
you.
name and question.
Hi, my name is Lucas, and I have a question for Rob and Roger. Since you both were the player character in the second game, and you both had to do hundreds of hours of content for the side missions, what were your favorite side missions to record and motion capture for?
Well, we shared that, yeah, because depending on what point of the game you choose to do them, it could be either John or Arthur. So we shared the mocap. So Rob would do, I think it was maybe a 60-40 split.
You definitely.
But he would do the mocap for one thing, and then 2 or 3 years later, I would ADR it in the booth, and vice versa. But some of the ones he did, and some of them I did. I enjoyed the one on the pig farm with the incestuous couple. That was a lot of fun. They were a great hoot. But one of the ones I'm really glad I didn't have to do, which this gentleman did like a trooper, was that guy out in the bayou who he's real friendly, and he invites you to come in for a little cup of tea or what have you. Rob called me one day and he said, Rog, you're going to have to do ADR on one thing I did today. And, well, all I'm going to say is, I took one for you, partner.
So bad. That was so bad. The Sun Worshipper, I got to do that one. That was so funny. It was really fun because the guy was so good. And it was really hard not to laugh throughout the whole thing, but...
Thank you. Thank you for your question. Hello there, friends. Right up to the mic. What's your name? What's your question?
My name is Jake. I've got a question for Rob and Ben. Obviously, you two were in Red Dead 1, and then you came back for Red Dead 2. What was your initial thoughts and, feelings on coming back to it? And were you, worried you lost any ring rust on your voices?
Go ahead.
I was really worried. One thing that happened, though, between the two games is I quit smoking. I used to smoke 2.5 packs a day when I was playing Dutch in the first one. And I think maybe because I quit smoking, I sound younger in the second game. But I showed up on the first day. I was really proud, of the work that we had done on the first one. And I thought it was perfect, really. And that doesn't happen often. And I was afraid we were going to step on it. And we were going to maybe do something that Sully did. And on my first day, I went to our director, Rod Edge, and I said so. And he said, man, don't worry. It's going to be better. And he was right. He was often right.
Yeah, it was so great to know that I was going back to work with all these people that I enjoyed so much time with throughout Red Dead Redemption. And I realized that my character was much younger, but the little bit of the script that I got to start off, I didn't realize that he was just a punk, he was. And so it was really awesome to go back. And of course, I loved playing the role of John, but this was almost like a different role altogether because by the time you get to Red Dead Redemption, John's all grown up and not as much of a punk. Still a punk, probably.
Yeah.
But in a different way. But yeah, man, I'm telling you, if they called me today and said be here tomorrow, I would be there in a second to do it again. Yeah, man. So.
Thank you very much for your question.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you look fantastic. Hello, what is your name and what's your question, my dear?
Hi, I'm Hannah, and I wanted to ask, what is the most meaningful or memorable moment for each of your characters throughout the game series?
Oh, meaningful or memorable moment. Alex, do you want to start?
Sure. Meaning or memorable? I mean, like, from Sadie's perspective or Alex's?
Which
Either. All right. They're probably similar. I think that last moment that I have with Arthur, it was actually really emotional. That was really beautiful. And I think the other one that comes to mind would be when I get my revenge on the O'Driscolls. It was a very, very intense scene to shoot. And it really felt like the culmination of something. And, you know, it was special, and it got a little weird, a little intense, and snot and tears and lots of screaming. And afterwards, I couldn't move my shoulder for about a week. It turns out that motion isn't one that I do often. So yeah, that was pretty phenomenal. And then I think right at the end, just getting to boss John around.
Thanks. What about you, Ben?
That's a great question, Hannah. There's a really small moment in Guarma where they all lay down for sleep, and Dutch says, "I'm sorry." After everything that they've gone through, from the bank to the shipwreck, and finally he says, "I'm sorry." And I figured that was the only chance I was going to have Dutch actually reflect on himself poorly and say so. And I don't know, something happened on that day. I'm very pleased with that moment. Thank you for asking.
Thank you. And what about you, Rob?
Oh, thank you, Hannah. So we did all this shooting. We had the schedule, we did all this stuff, and then at the very end, when they're done with the performance capture part of the production, they do what they call a glue shoot, where it's all these little tiny things that you have to fix. And it could be that they added a line, or you mispronounced someone's name, or weird little things that just need to be fixed, so that it's not like you're doing brand new scenes during this. You're just doing little things so they can get it all wrapped up and into the system, and then they can finish up that part of it. Well, so one of the things that we did during that was the very last thing, actually, that I was part of on the performance capture stage, and I think you too. We did the scene where Arthur gives John his hat, and of course we all knew at that moment, I'm starting to get choked up right now just talking about it. We knew what that meant for the game, but we also, that was the end of the performance capture part. So that was like another part of it that was like, my goodness, we've been doing this for so long, and it's been such a grind. Enjoyable, but like never saw the end coming for so long. And so for that very last scene, they brought everybody in the building onto the stage. And so if you're in clothes like we're in now that don't have the reflective markers on them, the cameras don't see you. So Roger and I were the only two on the stage that were in performance capture suits, but so many Rockstar employees that were never on the stage at any point all came down, and as soon as the director found the take that he wanted and said, "Cut, take that," the whole place just kind of melted down. It was like such a celebration of how much we had accomplished at that moment, and also just weight lifted off so many people's shoulders, and it was a really, really great moment for both of those reasons combined.
Thank you. Finally, Roger, anything to add?
So my favorite bit is you might not play it, because if you don't do the Brother Dorkins missions in Saint Denis, it skips. But there's that moment with Sister Calderon at the train station where Arthur says he's scared, he's afraid to die. And that always hit me, because I never saw that in a Western before. you know, and I thought that was very interesting, and I liked exploring that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thanks,
very,
Anna.
very much for the question. Thank
Cheers,
you.
Anna.
Cheers. Hello, my dear. Name and question.
My name's Izzy, and I don't really have a question. When Roger mentioned that this game brings family together, my dad passed last year, and it's been awful, obviously. And he passed before I got into Red Dead Redemption, and just any inspirational things, anything to keep me going would be just amazing.
Izzy, I'm so sorry to hear about that. I lost my dad too, you know, and I don't know if the pain ever really goes away, but you learn how to deal with it over time, you know. So give yourself time and space, you know. I think that's the real important thing to do.
Thank you for being brave enough to stand up here and say that as well. Could we have a big old cheer? We're thinking about you, sweetheart.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, my love. Thank you. Hello there. What's your name and what's your question?
Hello, my name is Jenny, or Jenna the Outlaw.
I know you.
You know me, don't you, ma'am?
You're in character again. Love
it. Of course
I
am.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, all right. So my question is for all of you. If y'all had the opportunity to meet your respective characters in the real world, what would you have to say to them, and what would be your impressions of them?
Oh. Alex, I'm going to put you on the spot again. Alex is going to hate me. God's sake, Claire. Go for
So
it.
if I met her or if I got to be her in the real world?
What if you had an opportunity to meet her in person?
Hey.
I think I'd be just looking in a mirror.
Oh, nice answer. All
Yeah,
right.
good one.
For impression, I think I could do a fair impression of Dutch. And I'd be scared of him.
Yeah, I think John would scare me. I think I would turn around and walk the other way and hope he didn't see me. That's what I would hope would happen, I think.
Ditto, man. I'd be like, you put your mask on and stay 6 feet apart. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Jenna. Incredible. Nice to see you. Hello, please come up to the mic. What's your name? What's your question, friend?
Hi guys, I'm Jack. My question's more, would I be able to get you all to have a video of you all saying hi to my pal? He was unable to come up today and he's a massive fan of Red Dead 2. He was absolutely broken that he couldn't come up.
Give me your phone. Let's do it real quick.
Wait,
What's your pal's name? Darren. Oh, shit. Sorry, I've become a granny and I don't know how to use a phone. Okay, right.
Why don't we all say
We're
hi
on
to
the Red
Darren?
Dead panel. Look, pass it along.
Oh. Hey, Darren. Outlaws for life.
Darren, why couldn't you be here, man? Everybody's disappointed in you, Darren. Here's John.
Darren, what's up, man? Jack is scared to death. He's all by himself, and well, we'll take him under our wing, but you owe us one.
Yeah, and you owe your friend as well, man. Look, everybody give him a Lenny! Come on over next time, you lazy bugger. Huh?
That's a round of applause. There you go. I hope that's all right for you. God's sake, Darren. Jeez, oh.
Thank you everybody, that's amazing.
Thank
all.
you. All right. Hello there, friend. You look great.
Oh, thank you.
Name and question.
Howdy, my name's Sean. I was just wondering if you could tell us about the audition process.
The auditioning process.
Aye, yeah.
Okay. Any words of wisdom or anything to talk to say about the auditioning process?
The process in general, or for us with Red Dead?
What you had to go through.
What you had to go through. Go for it.
Well, I had no idea what I was going in for. I thought it might have been an Apple commercial because we had to sign a bunch of NDAs. We weren't allowed to talk about it, didn't get the sides beforehand, and I got about 20 minutes with a long monologue, and they told me to get into a room. I could walk around wherever I wanted. They said, can you do a Southern accent? And I said, where from? And then went along from there, got one call back, and then was told where to show up, and did not realize who I would be working for until I got to the headquarters, and my jaw hit the floor.
Rob and I didn't have to audition.
there, you know, when you start working in the video game industry, you start to realize that all of the games that you're auditioning for have the exact same name. They're all called Untitled Video Game Project. And that was no different for this situation, too. So, you know, obviously, you know, with a highly anticipated franchise like Red Dead, we don't want to spoil it for you guys, so it's very secretive. Yeah, they told me to show up in cowboy boots. And I didn't even know it was for Rockstar at first, but by about the second or third audition, I was like, this is Red Dead, right? And they're like, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, we've only got time for 2 more questions, so got you, and then everyone else will have to sit down with you. But these guys are here all day, so make sure you go visit them, and you can chat to them then. I do apologise. So just you guys and then this guy behind you, if that's okay. Everyone else, please take a seat. I'm sorry, we're on a tight schedule.
Come over to the table and you can ask them.
Come to the table. You can speak to them personally. Hello, friends. What are your names and what's your question?
I'm Isaac and this is Ethan.
Hi.
And we were going to ask, if Red Dead became a movie, which actor would you like to play as your character?
Us.
Us.
That's a great question. That is a great question, and thank you for asking. But yeah, I think that each of us, because we played the roles and we played them, we had performance capture suits on. We looked pretty ridiculous, by the way. We had cowboy boots and
I had heels,
gun holsters, and everything else was like spandex. So we looked pretty ridiculous when we were doing it, but we actually did it. So I think
I made it look good, man.
You did. Well, you did. But yeah, I mean, if they ever made a movie, I would love to have an opportunity to play John. Of course.
It's quite an honor, though, seeing all these A-listers trying to throw their hat in the ring. They're gonna have to fight me for it, though, and I am a lot cheaper.
Thanks for your question, boys. Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Last but not least, hello, what's your name, friend, and your question?
Hi, my name's Fabian, and I was wondering if I can get a video of Roger shouting Lenny.
Hurry up, get it ready.
All right, I will deliver the phone. Okay. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, very old, right? Okay, there you go. Thank you.
Well, hey there, Fabian. How you doing, boy? You want a Lenny? Here it comes. Lenny!
Thank you very much, guys. A round of applause for the people that asked the questions. Great questions. Now, I'm going to ask one last question, and then we're going to do a stage selfie. When I do the stage selfie, I want you all to stand up and like cheer, but I'll prompt you. Last thing I want to say to you guys, do you have anything to say, or what would you like to say to the lovely fans here at Comic-Con Scotland? Sorry, Alex, I'm looking at you again.
I felt
you are
it.
closest to me. So,
just thank you. This welcome has been so heartwarming, so incredible. All of you have been amazing to talk to and to connect with. I love Edinburgh, like love it. Love Scotland, love everything about being over here, and I'm just so grateful.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you.
This is my first trip to Scotland, and it won't be my last. You guys are magnificent. Your oysters are excellent. And I love you guys. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much. Honestly, it's like, it feels like I've won the lottery or something. I have to pinch myself all the time. It's really a great experience. And like we talked about, the community that you've all created and supported each other. I've met so many people here that I've either met at other conventions that I really consider friends at this point, and I've also met some people who have created art that they've shared with me, and I'm meeting them in person now, and it's really an overwhelming experience. And thank you all for being so supportive and so cool. Thank you.
You know, I started my career in the UK. I trained in Wales, and I lived here for 10 years, and it's such In my wildest dreams, I never imagined that I'd be coming back and enjoying the appreciation of all of you guys. Like I said at the beginning of the panel, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We know it's not easy driving for hours. After COVID, some of us have never been in a room this crowded before, and it can be overwhelming, but you guys rock. You guys are amazing. Outlaws for life.
Outlaws for life.
I'm choking up here. I'm choking up. Thank you very much, you guys. So let's give one final round of applause for these guys, and then we're going to do the selfie. Roger, Rob, Ben, Alex! Thank you.